I was raised Catholic. What's happening in these pictures on the wall, Jesus was carrying the crucifix. Whenever I asked questions, I was told that I was naughty and shouldn't ask those questions. I walked away from the church in my teenage years and went out into the world pursuing a life of action sports. Yeah, one day I went out with some friends. We find this really interesting area where there's lots of natural jumps that are shaped in crazy different ways. And then I decided, all right, I'm gonna go into it a lot faster. Well, as fast as I could go, hit into it, come off it vertically, and I'm like, oh no. I started crying and I was like, what's the purpose of all this? What's the point of all of this struggle? Why am I going through all of these tests, test after test after test after test? I don't know what to call you, and I don't know how to pray to you, so please, help me out, And so I told my dad, who came with me. It was as if somebody else had taken my tongue and used it. So I said to him, maybe I'll visit a mosque, and maybe I'll become Muslim. I literally never thought about becoming a Muslim before that. Never.
Assalamu alaikum, Brother Yusuf. Thank you for accepting our invitation. We are very happy to have you with us. I want to start with, who is Yusuf? Can you tell us briefly about your life?
Wa alaikum salam, brother. Thank you for having me. So I am originally from Wales. My name's Joseph, so Yusuf is just a translation of the name. I was raised Catholic. I walked away from the church in my teenage years and went out into the world pursuing a life of action sports or extreme sports. I achieved success in that career, but I wasn't fulfilled. And so then eventually I was led back to God and came to Islam on that journey. Alhamdulillah.
Alhamdulillah. How was your life before Islam? What were you believing in?
Yeah, so I was raised Roman Catholic. It wasn't really a place where we could openly discuss the topic of God, I would go to church a lot. I was in Roman Catholic school. During school hours, they would take us to church. Priests would talk to us about certain things that he wanted to talk about, just monologues. And whenever I asked questions, I was told that I was naughty and shouldn't ask those questions. And I remember distinctly one time when I was very young, before 10 years old, I remember he waved his finger in my face and kind of laughed and then just walked off. His name was Joe, like myself, and I was like, Father Joe, what's happening in these pictures on the wall, Jesus was carrying the crucifix, and I just wanted to understand in more detail, what story was being played out. Yeah, it was not a environment where we could speak openly about the religion, and when it came to the second ritual of confirmation, where you confirm your baptism, you agree with your baptism, I said to my parents, I don't agree, I don't confirm, because I don't know anything about the religion still. I've been coming to church for years now, but I don't know anything. So after I left the church, I would have identified myself as agnostic, believing in something, but not sure what it was. Before Islam, I was lost, I was completely lost. And I had no idea why, it was just chaos. And I had no purpose in life, I was just going after worldly gains, material, I was doing things that society was encouraging me to do, go achieve that, go achieve this. This is what success is. And it left me feeling empty inside. So I alhamdulillah, I was pulled away from it by God.
What didn't make sense to you about Christianity?
None of it made sense to me, to be honest. I mean, how could Jesus, peace be upon him, how could he be God and not know he was, and at the same time, while he's being crucified, cry out to God? So he was crying out to himself. That just didn't make sense, It's illogical to me. If he was God, surely he could just wipe out the Romans and walk away, a free man, a free God, whatever you want to say, Too many things didn't make sense. The whole thing didn't make sense.
So what was your interest and what was your dreams?
My dreams were just to leave the society I was in, because I knew that there had to be another way of life. Life couldn't just be about football and drinking alcohol and getting a job that you hate and slowly killing yourself, That can't be, that is not what life's about. And at the time, I knew that in my heart, you know. It wasn't logical based. It was a feeling. I knew that life couldn't be like this. So I had to leave and just get out of there and just get some fresh air and see the world from a different perspective.
So why did you choose to have a profession in extreme sports? And what was the most risky activity you have ever done?
I mean, that career is a very risky career, you know. Like, there were stories all the time of people that we knew, like, not coming home and dying in avalanches or falling into what we call a tree well. So you have big trees and the branches. They'll have like a hollow space underneath where the snow can't reach, and people would fall into them like head first and just suffocate, you know. So constantly you're aware and you're like really switched on, like keeping track of every single person in your group, you know. And you had to be like switched on all the time, man, like, because it's super serious thing, you know. Even just riding up the mountain was the most dangerous part, because you had like hooligans going super fast that would just come around corners on the wrong side and just smash into the other guy coming up the trail, and one of them might die, or both of them might die, or at least someone's gonna break a leg. Or
What was the thing that made you question your beliefs?
I go riding with some friends and we find this really interesting area where there's lots of natural jumps that are shaped in crazy different ways, and you can jump in interesting ways. And we're just playing around there, like having a good time for a while. And I hit this one jump a few times and it's going good. And then I decide, like, all right, I'm gonna go into it like a lot faster. I hit the brake and I'm like, oh no, someone else landed here before me. You know, I wasn't using my mind. So I see that and I'm like, oh no. I try and throw my snowmobile away from me. I'm like, I'll just throw my snowmobile and I'll land in the snow over here and I'll take a deep breath and it'll be fine. No, I didn't have enough time to fully get away from my snowmobile. Like, the snowmobile smacked the ground like this and pretty much stopped dead because it was quite flat landing. Smacked the ground like that, and the right side of my body, my right leg in particular, came down on top of the machine, and then my body kind of folded into the snow and my leg just exploded. And yeah, that wasn't fun. That definitely was not fun. It's the first time in my life I ever asked a grown man to hug me. On top of the mountain, 2,000 meters. There's no way I can get out of there myself. Like, I'm useless at this point. Shock started occurring, you know. I start going into shock. And I start like shaking and getting like very uncomfortable. And so I say to the guy, just put your arm on me and just like hold me down, and I just grabbed his arm like this, and I was just like in a lot of pain, man. Like, I was making some noises too, you know, screaming and moaning, and it took a total of 45 minutes for the helicopter to arrive. They gave me some laughing gas to take away the pain. I started making all these ridiculous jokes, you know, because it makes you delusional, and I didn't forget about the pain, because they carry me on a stretcher now. It took like 8 guys because the snow is super deep, and they had to walk me back down to the helicopter, and my foot was just hanging off the stretcher like this. Like, I was on the stretcher, my body was fine, but my foot was just hanging off, and I was like, like in so much pain. I was like, somebody please just grab my foot and put it on the stretcher, you know? Like, it was real bad. And I just like broke down, you know, like I started crying, and I was like, what's the purpose of all this? Like, what's the point of all of this struggle? Like, why am I going through all of these tests, test after test after test after test? And then we were talking, I was like, okay, I need one more surgery on my leg. And he's like, well, there's nowhere really to do it in Bulgaria, so everyone from here goes to Istanbul.
Oh.
And that's why I came to Istanbul.
How did you first hear about Islam, and how did your journey towards Islam begin?
Yeah, so after I came to Istanbul for the surgery, which was successful, alhamdulillah, I had a feeling in my heart like I should stay here, and I didn't know why. And so I told my dad, who came with me, I was like, go back to Bulgaria and just leave me here. Like, I'll be fine. He's like, are you sure? Like, what are you gonna do? And I was like, to be honest, I don't know what I'm gonna do, but I'm sure I'll be fine. Then it's coming closer to when my father is gonna leave. And I say, it was as if somebody else had taken my tongue and used it. You understand what I mean? Like,
yeah, sure.
Words came out of my mouth that I had never thought about before. So I said to him, like, maybe I'll visit a mosque and maybe I'll become Muslim. I literally never thought about becoming Muslim before that. Never. I heard about Islam before, but like, I didn't believe the stereotypes. I'd never looked into the religion. I didn't know one single thing about. I didn't know Mecca existed. Like, I didn't know anything. And I think I said it with a smile on my face. Like, there was a bit of a sarcastic tone, like a joke, like something that's never gonna happen. It was very strange. It was very, very strange, you know. And so he left, and for the last few days of him being here, I was getting a little concerned because I knew my situation like wasn't good. Like I had very little money and still was doing physio after my latest surgery. You know, I had no friends in the city, and I had no idea why I wanted to stay, but I had the reason, a feeling. So I'm in my bed in this hotel at night, and I start praying again. I'm like, oh God, please show me why I have this feeling to stay here. Like, I know I should stay here, but show me why. A couple days later, I had enough of the physio, you know, like it was just it was killing me, like mentally, physically, spiritually. And I was like, I need a break. Okay, what to do? So I'm an archery fan as well. Archery is kind of in our blood in Wales. And I was like, I want to go see an Ottoman bow. I like, jump on the metro for the first time. I completely missed my stop. Like I got lost. And I'm conscious of the time, so I'm walking really fast, like in the direction I think I should go. It's completely like guessing, like logically guessing, you could say. And something snapped me, like I walked a long distance and something snapped me out of it. And I was like, okay, I'm tired, man. Like I should take a break. I'm really hot. Like, my foot hurts. Oh, I'm thirsty too. Like, okay, where am I? You know, like where to take a break, right? And I look around and I'm like, oh, I'm like in the garden of a mosque. And I look over here and there's like a huge door entrance to the mosque. And I like I kind of looked at it. I looked back and I was like, phew. I just went for it, you know? I just got sucked into this place. You know, I completely forgot about my principles I had beforehand. I get sucked into the mosque and I get in there and I'm like, okay, now what? Like for a while, I'm just looking at the beauty of the mosque inside, which I didn't know it was a place where like tourists often visited, right? And I didn't go there for that purpose. I didn't know the mosque even existed. After some time looking at the architecture, I thought, okay, like I'm in a mosque, like a place of worship. I might as well pray. The only way I know how to pray, like a Christian. So I'm like, okay, like looking for a place to pray, right? But it's full of tourists, so it's kind of a funny experience. Like the people just like separated like this, and I just like went in between them to the front, to the barrier. And so I had no distraction, like there was no one too close to me, so I could really do a good prayer, you know. I crossed my hands like this, and I kind of faced my head up towards the dome of the mosque, picturing heaven, you know, picturing talking to God, you know, in heaven. And I'm like, oh God, I don't want to call you God, because people say, oh my God, when they have a problem. So, I mean, I have a problem, but like, I don't want to, it sounds like an insulting term. I don't want to call you Lord, because you sound like a rich English guy, and I'm Welsh. I don't know what to call you, and I don't know how to pray to you. I don't know why I'm in a mosque or why I'm in Istanbul. So please, like, help me out, you know. 10, 15 minutes later, I got interrupted by a girl on this side of me. And she says, excuse me. And I come out of the prayer and I look at her, say yes. She says, you speak English? I say yes. She says, do you want to learn about Islam? And in my mind, I'm thinking, maybe this is what I'm praying for. So I say, yeah, let's talk. And so we find a nice spot to sit in the mosque. We sit for a couple hours. And during the conversation, my foot's killing me because I can't sit properly on the floor. So I'm praying for strength in my mind whilst listening to her at the same time. And I'm like, God, like, help me receive whatever it is you want her to give me. Help me receive it. Like, help me, you know, take my pain away. Like, help me focus, you know, because the pain was really pulling me out of the conversation. I was asking all sorts of questions, and she was answering all of them. She didn't once say, like, you can't ask that, you shouldn't ask this. You know, complete different welcome to what I had in the church, you know? Even I was Catholic and they wouldn't answer my questions. Now I wasn't Muslim and they were answering my questions, you know? Everything made logical sense to me. But at the same time, everything felt right to me. Everything felt correct. Okay, so she explained to me the basic fundamentals of Islam, right? The things you should believe in to be a Muslim. So that there's only one God, that he created angels, he created prophets, he gave them books, revelations, that everything's destined, destiny exists, and in the afterlife, the hereafter, right? Heaven or hell. So I agreed with all these things. I never prayed to Jesus. I never prayed to Mary. None of that stuff made sense. They're just people. And so she's like, if you agree with these things, then, you know, basically you're already a Muslim. You just need to say this one or two lines and you'll become Muslim. So do you want to do it? And I was like, yeah, why not? Yeah, so I did it. And then right after, I took my Shahada, which was a little bit of a nerve-wracking experience because she waved over a bunch of people. And there's one big guy who, like, he looks like some Chechen warrior, you know? And I'm like, okay, like, what's going on here, you know? So they take me to the front of the mosque and they sit in a circle with me and they teach me how to say it properly. And they walk me through it. And then she actually is the one who gave me the name Yusuf. Like, she's like, congratulations, Yusuf, you're now a Muslim. And they took me back to the center and they gave me more information, which was too much. And another brother, he saved me from it. He's like, guys, like, look at the guy. Like, it's his first day. Like, he just learned about the religion. Chill. We got time. We can talk to him about more stuff another time. So he really saved me.
You know that many people that consider Islam have bad habits from their past life. Should such a person not become a Muslim unless he or she has managed to abandon all of them?
Definitely not. I don't think anyone should wait to become Muslim when they make themselves into the perfect person, because the perfect person doesn't exist, right? Angels were created as perfect beings, but humans were created as people we do sin. Everyone sins. Every single human sins, you know?
Yeah.
So even the person who looks like what you would imagine the best Muslim to be, guaranteed they sin. Guaranteed. Yeah. And they know it too. It's just in our nature. First become Muslim, take it easy on yourself, you know, like remind yourself that like people sin, like it's, if there were people who did not sin, if there was a society of people who did not sin, I would destroy them and I would replace them with people who sinned. So they could come back to me and ask for forgiveness.
As you stated before, there is a conception that when someone becomes a Muslim, he has to abandon his entire culture and change his identity, change his name, his clothing, become like an Arab. Is that true?
Absolutely not. Like, there's some people who I've discovered a Muslim who, like, I would never have guessed a Muslim, you know. They look super westernized, just like a normal person you'd see in the West, you know. Yeah. So it's not a thing that you have to, now all of a sudden you have to look like a super religious person just because you're Muslim. No, like, just wear thobes, you know, and, I don't know, walk around with beads in your hand or something like this, you know, like talking to yourself, nodding your head or whatever, right? Yeah, personally, like, you know, I'm not going to change my name officially. It's just a translation of my name. Like, in Turkey, they can't say Joe. They say Yoe. So to make it easier, I'm like, I'm Yusuf. Nice to meet you. You know, Yusuf, Joseph, same thing. Different language. Yeah, I mean, I think it's a beautiful thing. For my first Ramadan, I got invited to Mecca. And I saw people from all cultures all over the world. And it was a beautiful thing. Everyone was Muslim, so it means we all agree on these basic principles of life and how life should be lived. But we have our cultures that make us different and can connect us in different ways. Like, I saw people dressed in like fantastic ways I'd never seen before. You know, so you can keep your culture, absolutely.
After becoming Muslim, have you ever experienced an extraordinary event where you felt that you had a special connection with Allah?
First one is like, I had like no money and I was like little money, and I was thinking, no problem, like Allah will provide, you know, I'm good, no worries. Yeah, I have a little bit of money, I should be careful how I use it, what I have left, but no problem, like Allah will provide, you know. And then I get tested in a way, you know, like this cat comes up to me, and it's a mother, a cat came up to me, it's a mother, it just had babies. And it's super hungry. It's like meowing at me in like an aggressive way. Like, I need food right now, you know? So I think to myself, I didn't think like, oh, I have a little bit of money, I got to keep it for myself, you know. I just got up, I went and bought like some food for the cat, fed the cat, you know. And it kept happening. There's cats everywhere that had just had babies in this period of time. It's like the season, I guess. And I thought to myself, like, that's the correct thing to do. Like, I can go hungry, no problem. I'm a fully grown man. Like, I don't need food, really. You know, I'm not growing. And this cat, like, it's starving, and it has babies, like, and they need to grow, and they can't fend for themselves. And when they're older, they can, but they can't right now. And so anyway, I'm used this little money I have left to feed these cats, right? Mm-hmm. Then one of my friends pulls me aside later on. He's like, brother, I just want to get an update from you. Tell me what's up, like, how you doing, what's going on? I said, okay, I'm trying to go east. I'm trying to study Islam deeper and get a more general understanding of the basics. But I said, like, right now, what I'm doing, I'm trying to sell a bunch of things and like try and make some business deals work, find a bit of money, pay for the visa and the flight, and then go there. I said, once I'm there, I know like Allah will provide for me. I'll be good, no problem. But for now, I said, that's my mission. That's what I'm doing. And he said, why didn't you come and ask me? And I was like, well, just didn't. I don't know why. I just didn't. And he said, okay, like let me, like what if I could try and find you a loan, like from some people? And I said, bro, of course I would accept that, but the only issue is I don't know when I'd be able to pay you back. Like I'm still struggling with my leg. I don't know when I could make the money. Like my idea is to study, like, you know, not to make money. Yeah. And he's like, okay, I understand. He's like, okay, see you later. Like we say goodbye, you know. Comes to me the next day. He's like, brother, I found you some money, all right, from some people. And I say, okay, man, amazing. That's okay. Like who are the people? And like, when do they expect it back? And he's like, no, man, like this is charity to you. Like they decided, because as Muslims, you need to give, if you have enough wealth, like if you're not poor, you have to give 2.5% of your savings every year in charity to someone or people in need, zakat. And he said, this is their zakat. Like they had to give it to someone in need anyway, and like you're the guy in need and you're seeking Islamic knowledge specifically. So he's like, there's the money with no obligations attached to it. I was just like, that is insane, you know? And so I say to myself, like, maybe this was because of what I did with the cats. Like, I don't know, like, you know, maybe because I put my trust in God to provide for me, as he says he will do in the Quran, like, I will provide. You know, mind blowing.
People in the West generally stay cold towards Islam. What is the reason behind it? And what advice would you give to your fellow non-Muslim Westerners in a few minutes?
Yeah, what you say is true. There is a coldness or a reservation, you could say, or a blockage against Islam in the West. People are not open generally to talking about it or thinking about it. And this is because like Islam has had a huge propaganda campaign against it for such a long period of time, you know. Generally, we all know propaganda is the tool of governments, you know, to control a narrative, to control a belief system, to control how people see something, right? We've seen it used throughout history many, many times as a tool to distract the masses or to take them away from the truth or to lie from them in order to justify a certain action, right? So if we all had the belief that the people in the Middle East, let's say generally the Muslim countries, were beautiful, warm-hearted, kind people who would give you the clothes off their back, which is what they are, by the way. That is what they are. But if everyone knew that and believed that, then the world would be outraged when they saw the destruction of one of these countries, right? But if everyone at home in the West believes that these people are somehow less civilized or human animals, as Netanyahu put it, then killing them and destroying them, it's not so much of a problem anymore. Now it's a bit more justified, you know, and it makes the people accept these things happening a lot easier. Don't believe what you see in the media all the time, you know. If some media is being censored, generally that's the more truthful media, right? If it's being promoted by every other news outlet that exists, generally there's a reason for that. They want you to believe this thing for a certain reason. Yeah. So look into things for yourself. Like we were born with a brain with which to think, right? Allah tells us this in the Quran. We were born with a brain with which to think, so use your own brain. Come to your own determination about certain things, certain people. Do your own research. Don't believe what you're told. You know, find out things for yourself, you know, and stop trying to be like everyone else.
Thank you, Brother Yusuf, so much for your sincere answers. May Allah reward you. Inshallah, may Allah allow you to stay on the right path until your last breath, inshallah.
Thank you so much. You as well.